Hello, Olu again. Nuggets of wisdom coming at you again. There is no change without consequences. I say that again. There is no change without consequences. Let's get it. Welcome back. Where it like, share, hit the notification bell for new content. Guys, as you can see, the topic itself can be self-explanatory, but I find out that no disrespect, common sense. One of my doctors used to say this: if someone common sense is the least sense is being used, myself included, something that you think that is very obvious to all of us, I don't think a lot of us actually know why we do what we do. There is no change without consequences. A lot of people will not change on the consequences hit them in the face. A lot of people will repent after the fact. And I have to let you guys know, there were consequences on the way. The problem with the consequences was not big enough, or it didn't take them down enough before they got the memo or got the message that something has to shift. You know how I like my words. I like my definitions. I like my words in the weeds. I'm a wordsmith. So I looked at what consequence is. It is a result of an action or condition. A result of action or condition. So why do we say this? A lot of us we are so afraid of the consequences. And let me just highlight this very quickly. There can be good consequences and there can be bad ones. So it's not that, so when you hear consequences, don't let it just think it's just all negative. But the fear of actually acting, moving, or changing, right? We will not actually make those changes at all. Just because we are afraid of the consequences. So let's go ahead. I'll read this thing from Eckhart Tolle. He said this way. He said, whenever you are, be there totally. If you find your here and how intolerable and it make you unhappy, you have three options. Remove yourself from the situation, change it, or accept it totally. If you want to take responsibility for your life, you must choose one of the three options, and you must choose now. Then accept the consequences. What am I saying here? There are people who have been in relationships that have stayed too long for the fear of what may happen. They're so afraid of what is going on. So for that reason, nothing will ever happen. I've been listening lately that is so fearful that people are ready to be stuck in the rut. I'm not talking about something that goes for 6 months. I'm not talking about something that goes for years. I'm not talking about something that goes for decades, over decades. Just because they don't want to change it, or they want to change it, or they feel it's going to get better. But the history, right, has already told them what's happening. But one of my mentors back in the day used to say, numbers don't lie, people do. And when I talk about numbers, they have showed you a number of times what is happening, how they're reacting to what they're doing. They showed you in your pattern. You don't need a magician. You don't need a card reader to let you know what's going on. They have already told you who they are. But you decide because of the fear of what may happen. You never pull that trigger. There can be some triggers that need to be pulled. I'm going to give you a personal story. I think I talk about my divorce so much, I think you guys are getting sick of it. But let me tell you, it's one of the hardest decisions I had to make. The hardest. The consequences of not seeing my children not grow up under the same roof. The consequences of not attending their recital. I'm not saying it's fun. I'm not coming here to come and tell you, oh yeah, I enjoyed it. It was the funnest thing to do. But there's going to be consequences for my actions, right? And that means I need to live out of state. But for me not to pull that trigger would be dangerous. I probably would not be talking to you today because I'll be so enmeshed in the nonsense that was going on at the time that I will not be able to be myself. This is no disrespect to my children because I love them. I wish things were better. I wish I could do it in a different way. But these are things you have to live by. You either live the life of promise or you live the life of regrets. And most regrets sometimes are negative consequences because nobody decided to pull the trigger to do the things that they need to be done. You're hanging around people just because they fill a space for you, but you know they're not giving you what you need. There is no change without consequences. I want you to, if I were to say that as many times as possible, there is no change without consequences. You want to move in life, you gotta change something. And some of it will not be fun. Some of it, you may have to go through pain. You may have to lose some things on the way to your change. It may not even pan out in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Let me be honest with you. I am going through some consequences. Yes, it was hard, right? But I'm glad that I went through it. I'm going through some consequences. I am still cleaning up. 12 years down the line, right? Things that has been lost. Let's be honest, let me go a little further. Homes that has been lost. Money that has been lost. Relations that has been lost. But I would never, looking back at it, what I know now, I wish I did it sooner. But hindsight is 2020. I'm just glad I did it. So I want to let you guys know, it's not going to be fun. If you want to change something, and because of the pain you're going to go through, right? You are avoiding the pain. All what you're doing is kicking the can down the road. You are avoiding the pain already anyway. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know, I was reading a quote today that I thought was very powerful, right? And it's just a quick thing. It said, there's 5 things that you don't want to regret or consequences. That's why I always say when people talk, and that's why I go on social media, I say a lot of people open their mouth just because they want to open their mouth for the sake of opening their mouth. Number 1 thing you say you should do. A stone you can't have a stone after it's thrown, right? The stone has been thrown. Number 2, you can't have a word that has already been said. A word that you've been insulting, degrading, disrespectful to the person, and you actually depleted that person's spirit. Some people will die from the result of the word you spoke to them. Be very careful what you say. Number 3, an occasion after it's been missed. You're supposed to show up something, you never showed up, you can't get that back. Number 4, a time after it's gone. It doesn't matter how good you are. We're in 2023. I told Brian today, I cannot believe today is February 20th. When did we hit December 31st? Time is gone. It's gone already. Lastly, trust that is being lost. You know when you lose trust with somebody, if you want to try and pacify it, it is never the same again. So I want you to let you know, my people, for you to change anything, be ready for the consequences, right? Make sure that it's going to be a long journey in some cases. And accept the consequences. The problem with what we want to do today is we want to get back to where we are. Oh, they have to see me when I was at my best. They want to see me when I was driving my Bugatti. I don't have my Bugatti anymore. Who cares? You're living now, brother. You're living now, sister. They want to remember when I had the house with the gated community and everybody saw me. Nobody cares. And even if they care, what matters is that your spirit was not depleted in the process. What happened most that it didn't happen just because you didn't feel less than. The worst thing a man or woman can feel in his life is feel they are nothing. Those are the guys who commit suicide. You will say, okay, Kate Spade had all the money in the world. Anthony Bourdain was on CNN, had all the money in the world. You will say, what's making them unhappy? Right? They had a hole in their hearts that nobody filled. And they felt less than. I'm not saying I know the whole story of how they all passed away, they made some depression, whatever happened, but I'm saying there's no change without consequences. Consequences may mean that you're losing money because I need my peace. Consequences may mean I want to take that relationship. It may mean I'm moving cities because there's a consequence. That means I'm going to lose friends. Or I can't go to my dry cleaners anymore. I can't go to the Starbucks down the street. I have to change city because there's consequences. There's no change, there's no consequences. I think you get my drift. I believe he understands you. But whatever you do, make sure don't hang around toxic situations. Make those changes and accept the consequences. It's Olu again, Nuggets of Wisdom.